Right, hello everybody. So it's a Friday. No, it's not. That's a good start. It's a Saturday night, and I'm not out because I'm old and boring. And so yeah, there's some football quietly on the TV on mute behind me. Just keep my eye on the scores. But I thought I'd do another one of these at the same time. Why not? Another survival mode puzzle rush. And if you'd seen the last one, you'd have seen I nearly made 50 and couldn't quite get the last puzzle, the 50th one. I couldn't quite get there. So we'll have another go. My various scores so far, we've gone up in sixes. So with a bit of luck, I get 55 this time, but I suspect that won't be the case. But we'll see. Who knows? I have no idea yet what represents a good score for me on this. So we'll start to work it out as we go on. What's the leaderboard for today? 71 for well, I assume it's German. It's a German flag, but that doesn't necessarily prove anything, but a grandmaster there. So that's good. And then the next is 60. So that's a big gap. Exotic Princess is definitely one of the top grandmasters, but I can't, just off the top of my head, I can't think of his real name. But I definitely know that one. And I don't immediately recognize the others, but so the master players appear to be only getting in the 50s today, which makes me think that, yeah, suggests that maybe we won't get anywhere near 50 today if the masters are only getting to 50. Who's that that's played? Slovakian, right? We don't worry too much about that. We can worry about that in a minute. So, well, let's see how we get on. So anyone that hasn't seen these before, you get 3 lives. So you can get 3 puzzles wrong. It ends when you get 3 wrong. And they get harder as you go along. So obviously this first one is very straightforward. We've got this battery pointing at the bishop. There's no black pieces protecting the bishop. So queen takes is just checkmate. The king can't take back because the bishop's protecting. So 1. As I say, they will get considerably harder. Now this, with the rook guarding this entire line, I have a feeling it's probably just going to be knight here because it's protected by the rook, which is check, and it's also attacking the bishop. So I think that's correct. Can't see anything else. Check. The king will move, and now the knight will take the bishop. Don't know what the arrow is for. We'll take the bishop with check, and we will just have won a whole piece. Must be right. Okay, so 2. And this is just going to be queen takes queen. I mean, the queen is completely unprotected. I just want to make sure there's no checkmate. No, there isn't. So queen takes queen, fine. And I'm trying not to be distracted because it's Brentford v Liverpool on the telly, and Brentford have just equalised it's a ridiculous game, the 83rd minute, 3-3. What a game of football. But I'm trying not to get distracted. Now, this one, what we always do with these puzzles is look for forcing moves, so checks and captures and things that threaten stuff, basically. So it's never going to be, yeah, maybe it will when they're really hard, but generally it's not going to be a move like that. It's not going to be king to h8. It doesn't do anything. So where can we check in this position? Well, knight to here is check. And from there, the knight also attacks the rook. So we go here and we make the fork and we win the rook and we've solved the puzzle. So far, they're very straightforward. Now, this looks like it's going to be a back rank checkmate. There'll be quite a lot of these, I expect. And back rank checkmate is one where the king is trapped by his own pawns. So I think the move is probably going to be queen here. And what should then happen? Well, the rook might get in the way first, maybe, but it just delays the inevitable. Something will go back to here. And then we'll have rook takes, queen takes, queen takes. The knight can get in the way if it wants. Queen takes knight. And there'll be no squares available. We can't play rook takes rook. A, it's not winning. And B, queen here would actually be checkmate against us. So this should be correct. As predicted, a delaying the inevitable. So still check. And now the queen gets in the way. So queen takes, slightly different move order, but the same thing. The rook will now take, the knight will get in the way. Oh, it didn't even bother. Okay, now this one's another fork. It's a sort of right angle triangle going on here. We're going to play queen takes pawn, which is check, and also attacks the rook. So we're just going to win a whole rook. check. Queen gets in the way and queen takes rook. Fine. So far, so good. Nothing difficult about these. Now, this one's going to end up being another back rank mate. And what we see is this battery, the queen and the rook, pointing at this pawn. So we can take this. King takes back will not be acceptable because the rook would take the king. So we start with this. Now, the king is now trapped by his own pawns. So if I put the queen here, the only move will be rook takes queen, and we can play rook takes rook checkmate. So that should be there, and that should be there. Okay, now this is what's called an epaulette mate. And epaulettes, if you don't know, are things that like medals and decorations and whatever that go on shoulders on clothes and suits and whatever. And in this occasion, the epaulettes are these two things on the shoulders of the white king. So when we put the rook across, it'll be checking the king. The king won't be able to go to these two squares because the rook will guard them both. And this rook protects his mate. So this is checkmate in one from here. I'll just hover the rook. And that's that one. Okay, this is the first one where I might have to do some thinking. I reckon we've got the possibility of a check along there from the rook. The king will have to move, and then I think we go queen here, which will be check, and it will also be attacking that rook. So I think we're setting up a fork to win the rook. So I think here, and I think here, and it didn't even let me take the rook, but that was the correct answer. Okay, now this should be something to do with promoting the pawn because it will become a queen. So doing it straight away is not the best way to do this. I think we should play queen takes queen. And then after rook takes, we promote, and this square is no longer protected. The rook can't get there. I will have a quick look. Pawn up first, rook takes queen takes queen, or queen takes queen takes. Yeah, I think queen takes queen. Well, it's, oh, I've just twigged actually. Of course, it's queen takes queen. I didn't really notice that was check. So, of course, this is actually forced. So, fine. And puzzle solved because we're a queen up. Okay. So, white is threatening to go queen there, checkmate, which is obviously bad. What we're going to do is use this rook battery here to go check. Now, white can delay the inevitable, can go rook takes, and then the other rook will come up with check. The king will have to go here, and then queen there will be checkmate because this rook and these two pawns actually block in the white king. So far, so good. Rook here, check, and now that's mate because the rook protects the queen. No escape for the king. This is going to be something to do with queen here because the bishop protects. That will force the king to the corner. And then I think rook here, check, rook takes, queen takes, bishop in the way, queen takes bishop. Yeah, that has to be right. So here, okay, the rook checks. So it's always checks and captures, things that reduce the range of possible replies for our opponent. Yes, that's correct. As predicted, this is check. The only way to block it is to put the bishop in the way. And then because the queen will cover that square as well from here, checkmate. So far, so good. Now, this is a nasty pin. And usually in chess, the best thing to do when you've pinned an opponent's piece is to hit it again. And the only way I can see to do that is to put the knight here. Now, from there, the knight attacks the knight and the queen. And while white's busy moving the queen out of the way, we can then play bishop takes knight next move. So I think we're going to go here. And in fact, the computer is saying white's best bet is just to accept the loss of the queen for two pieces. So that's good. Right, this one we've already had, very, very similar. It's to do with this, excuse me, this battery, this combination of pieces coming here. It'll be check. The king will have to move here, and then queen here, check. The rook will capture, and our rook will come up to capture, and it'll be checkmate on the back rank because the king will be trapped by his own men again. So here and here. So first 14, pretty good. This one is to do with these two pieces hitting this square. So it's going to be queen takes pawn, which is check. Whoops, sorry, let's just put those arrows back. So queen takes pawn is check. The king cannot capture on this square because of the rook. He'll have to go here, and then the queen will come to this square and it will be checkmate. So takes and mate, because again, the rook's protecting. So from here, there's just no way for the king to get out of check. Cool. Okay. This is slightly more difficult, but it's going to be a back rank pattern again, and it's going to involve a combination of these moves. So what we're going to do here is play queen takes pawn, which is check. Now, if the king goes to the corner, queen takes rook is mate straight away. So that won't be what happens. What will happen is rook takes pawn, but then we play this move, attacking along the back. All that black will be able to do is put the rook back, and then either of the rooks can capture on that square. I'm pretty sure that's right. So queen takes pawn, sacrifice the queen. And now rook here, check. The rook has to go back. Well, that one can get in the way first, but it changes nothing. Yeah, and then we would have checkmated on that square to finish the game. Now this, right, so immediately I'm seeing a fork on this square, but that isn't the whole story. So that's not going to do it because obviously rook takes queen. But what we can do is play queen takes rook check first. And after the king comes to this square, then we play knight here because it will be check. The king will move and we pick up the enemy queen, and we're just a knight and several pawns ahead. So queen takes rook is check, knight here check, and then win the queen. Okay. Right, this one is going to be to do with, you see, I'm just starting to get slightly slower as they get a little harder. So this is to do with this bishop here. It's completely unprotected. And what we need to do is force the king back to one of these squares so we can set up a fork with the rook. So I'll show you what I mean. Remember, the king is blocked. So if we check him, he's going to have to go backwards. So rook here, check. And now rook here will be a fork. The black king will have to get out of check, and then we just pick up the bishop. So here, here, and we're a whole piece ahead. Okay, so we're playing black here, and we've got this lovely 2-on-1 advantage. And the king is too far away. Actually, if the previous move had been there, I'm not convinced that it wouldn't have been white that was winning. So, but anyway, so the point is we're going to put this here and then here. And there's nothing on this line to stop the pawn from going all the way through. The best that white can do is take, but then it just gets replaced by this pawn and it's all over because we get an extra queen. So this must be here, 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 and the king just can never quite catch the pawn up and we get a new queen. Okay, so the bishop is guarding these two squares. So if we can get our queen to here, where she'd be protected by the pawn, it would actually be checkmate. And that gives us the clue to this. It's queen here, check. The king will have to go to the square G7. Well, you can put the queen in the way first, but queen takes queen. The king will have to go here. And then we don't do that because that would be losing a queen. We put it there. And it will be checkmate. Let's see if it lets us complete it. Yeah. So now it's checkmate here. The queen's protected by the pawn. The queen is guarding all these three squares, and the bishop guards the two white squares. So mate. 5 minutes of injury time in this game with Brentford and Liverpool. That's just slightly distracting me because it's been such a good game. Anyway, right. This one we need to spot. This is quite tricky. I mean, I know it, but it's tricky. What we've got to think is this rook dominating the open file, and compare it to white's rook, which is just at home doing not very much. And so I think the right answer is going to be knight takes bishop. And that's because, I'll just get rid of this. I'll just draw another arrow. That'll help. So knight takes bishop, then king takes, and then you'll have the king on the same line as this rook. So then I think we go bishop takes here. We'll discover a check. The king will do something to get out of check, and then bishop takes knight, and we just win material. So I think we're going here, and then we're going here, and the knight just gets in the way of the check, but rook takes knight, and we're doing all right. Okay, 21, but it gets a lot harder. Now, I think we've seen something like this. a minute ago. So look at this bishop guarding the two black squares. I want to force the king into the corner. And so I think we can go queen here, check. The king will have to go to this square. And then queen here will just be winning. So queen here, check. There's no choice. Remember, the king couldn't go to these two squares. And now when we go here, it's check to the king. No escape, apart from to put the rook in the way, but then we just take it. So queen here, and that's checkmate now. The queen attacks the king, and the bishop is, remember, guarding the black square. So that's the end of that one, 22. It's going to start getting more tricky soon. Now, this pawn is pinned. If it moves to recapture a captured bishop, I'll play queen takes rook. So that's making me think that we might be able to play rook takes bishop, because pawn takes, and the game's finished 5-all on the football. So full concentration on this now. But I do need to be a little careful. Now, I just want to check. So rook takes, queen here, check. I'd have to go queen here. That's a king there. Queen here looks like it's forking the rook and the king. But actually, if I put the bishop back, then suddenly this queen is threatened. The bishop's protected by my queen, and I think all is well with the world. So I think we can do this. Exactly, and absolutely. Bishop comes back to block the check, and because the queen's protecting the bishop and the bishop's attacking the white queen, we're actually fine here. Well, okay, we got to play one more move, but we just take the queen, so winning. All right, 23. Right, this move is just horrid because the white squares, it's got to be to do with these white squares over here. Look at this, ouch. So this has to be queen here. Black can play pawn forward, but queen takes is still check. King here or here, it doesn't make any difference. Queen to f7 will just be mate. So queen to here, as predicted. Queen takes pawn is check, and whichever square the king goes to, queen here is mate, because of the support of the bishop. So the death on the white squares in this position. So queen takes, the king goes there, queen here is mate. So look, the bishop protects. Fabulous. Okay, now we got this bishop here, and it's guarding the black squares. So I noticed straight away, no escape here for the king. And that means I think we should play queen takes rook, king takes rook, rook down here to replace the queen is check. The only move to block the check is to put the knight on this square, but then rook takes knight is mate because the bishop's guarding. So let's see that in action. Queen takes, the rook comes down, the knight must get in the way, and now rook takes knight is mate because the bishop protects the rook and stops the king escaping to this square. So that's a checkmate pattern. I'll just hover the rook there for a sec for our newer players. Okay, so we've got to stop this promoting. And my gut feeling is to move the rook down so that the pawn can't go forward because it would be pinned, sorry. So the rook's there. And then I think we might actually just be able to sacrifice the rook for this pawn and march this one up the board. Well, that will definitely work, actually. There's no question that will work. It's just a case of whether that's actually the quickest win. I think it probably is. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, so now the king's going to go here. Now, I can't do anything now to stop this pawn promoting except take the pawn. So I can't do anything to guard this square. Well, obviously, if I put the rook there, the pawn takes it. And we can't let white get an extra queen. So it has to be rook takes pawn. And now I think we just win the race because the king will always be, oops, one square behind, and we'll get a queen. So boink, 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 and there we go. Okay, now then. The key to this is going to be finding the right way to force this pawn through. Because our black pawn is much closer to promoting than these two white ones are to promoting. So we're going to get a queen. We're going to get a queen first. But there's a key move to put in the middle of this. So bishop takes rook check is obvious. But I can't just push the pawn now because the white king will go here. and we can't get him off of that square. So what we actually have to do is go here first. And now, because our king guards all three of these squares, we just march the pawn and we get a queen well before white ever can. Okay, so that's good. Right, I want to play knight here, check. Queen takes is no good because bishop takes, so that square is protected. And I feel like after knight here, we can probably get the queen into the game and threaten mate on this square. If we go knight here and the king comes here, it's probably going to be queen here. And then there's problems on this square for black. But I think it's probably going to be knight there. Let's try. Yeah, okay, so he's gone straight back. And now it's difficult to see how. Let's just visualize this. If I put the queen here, how do you stop the checkmate on that square? I don't think you really can. So queen to h5. Oh, that's a clever idea. Okay, that's actually a really, really good idea. So he's put the queen in the way to protect the square. So now we've got to either find a way to make this queen move away or block. And I think what we do is put our knight, has to be this one, on this square, because that then cuts off this defense. The queen's no longer defending, so checkmate is once again a threat. And if knight takes, well, then the knight has blocked the queen, so we're still doing all right. And if queen takes, then we just change plan and win the queen. So this must be correct. Yeah, good. Okay. Okay, this is interesting. Okay. So I was starting to think that how do we get away without just being permanently checked here? But of course, if we can get our king to this square, having promoted, then rook here check is no longer a problem. So what we're going to do is promote the pawn, check. And now if I go here, white's basically run out of checks because here, queen takes rook, rook takes, king takes, and remember we've still got this rook in the corner which will win us the game. So king to here, yeah, and it's all just going to take place on the board, and now we're just a rook up. All right, 29. This looks like it's going to be what is the primacy of check. Oh no, it isn't. No, it isn't. No, I'm being stupid. Okay, no, so I just didn't look at the position properly then at all. Just ignore that. Right, so the point is we're in check, but we've also got the good arrows. Stop it. Give me just being a donut. But the bishop's protecting the rook, and the rook is pinning the enemy queen. So we can't play bishop. I've forgotten how to do anything. We can't play bishop takes because suddenly that unprotects this rook, and queen takes rook is a possibility. So we have to do it with the pawn. And then I think we're probably just winning. Yeah, because now bishop takes queen, and what's going to happen? The computer's going to bring the rook down with check, and we have to go to this square to maintain the protection of our own rook. So here, and yeah, fine, we're just a bishop up. All right, so 30, this is okay. 30 is okay. All right, so the thing with this one is the king is attacking the rook, but currently the rook's defended. So all we've really got to do is get the king away. So I would suggest the move is here, here, and now we can win the game. I'm just doing some calculation in my head. So king takes, king takes, king takes pawn. King will go here. We'll need to go there. He'll go there. We'll go there. And then there's no way to stop the pawn. Okay, so king takes, king here. Now, what we've got to do, we can't let this king march to the corner, because if he does, there's never going to be a way to force the pawn through. You'll just get stuck and it will be stalemate. For beginners, just try that on a board. If you can get the black king can get into the corner, it'll just shuffle backwards and forwards on these squares and you can never force the pawn through. It's just a draw. So what we have to do is go here and here, and then there's then the pawn can march up the board because the black king can't get to the corner. Okay, so this one is going to be a back rank puzzle, a back rank checkmate. But what's going to happen is this giving check. The only way to escape it will be to put the bishop back. Then rook takes bishop, forces king takes, and queen here will be checkmate along the line with the queen guarding this square. So rook to here, rook takes bishop, and now queen here is mate because she's attacking the king and will be guarding this square. They're starting to get a little bit trickier, and right on cue. This is the first one where it's not actually immediately obvious to me what the answer is. So it's thinking caps time, people. This pawn is pinned. It can't take me because queen takes king. Obviously, that would make it an illegal move. So it's probably something to do with this. I like that this bishop is potentially pointing at this square as well. So maybe we can put the knight somewhere, but not there yet because knight takes knight, but you get the idea. Maybe we can possibly pile up on this. So if we play pawn takes pawn, it's forking the bishop and the knight. And so something will have to take back, and then we can start attacking that square. We can put our knight here. I think that's got to be it somehow. Maybe not knight there. Maybe it would be moving this knight. I think this has got to be right. Yeah, now let's get this right. Because I've got to be really quick here, or this won't work. Oh no, I'm being silly. I'm being silly. Pinned piece. I'm looking for all the clever ways to hit this pinned piece again. But of course, pawn take, pawn here. And then we're just winning the knight because it's paralyzed. It must be pawn here. Okay, fine, but we just win a piece. Okay, yeah, I nearly overcomplicated that. It wasn't that hard at all. Okay, so this bishop is looking at this, but at the moment there's lots of pieces protecting it. But what we can do is get rid of one of those pieces. So queen takes queen, forces rook takes, and then bishop takes is not only check, but it's forking the rook. So this one looks quite easy. I think that's got to be, actually, I'll just do that and let go. Just make absolutely sure there's no other good checks, no other decent captures. No, this has to be right. Queen takes queen and bishop takes pawn and the king moves, and now we've won a rook. Oh, hang on again. Let's just make absolutely sure there's no better move. There's no good checks. No, that's fine. So at this point, I just have to be certain that I'm not missing anything silly, because there might be a trick or two in some of these puzzles now. Now, I kind of want to play knight here, which forks the bishop and the rook. But this is now getting up to the stage where these are 2000 graded puzzles, and that feels like it might be too obvious. But to be fair, I don't see any decent checks. We can't take because queen takes, rook takes, king takes. It's just rubbish. We're just, oh, I don't know why I highlighted that. We're just losing. So that's rubbish. Queen takes rook. I could, but rook takes. I don't think that's going to do it. Rook takes pawn. Yeah. And I mean, okay, if queen takes, it's mate because of the battery. But yeah, I don't think that's going to do it because well, that's quite a good move. I mean, oh, what I highlighted it. If the rook takes back, then you do have queen takes. I don't think it's that. I really, it's got to be here. It's got to be here. I think I might be over. I think I'm overthinking. That makes sense. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, it is. It is. I just, it's because we're getting to the grading stage, the rating stage now. It's high enough that I just thought that had to be harder than it was. But it wasn't. It was actually quite straightforward. Now, I feel like if we can get one of our rooks to this square, black is going to be doing really, really well. But white's also got this rook check. So, oh, wait a minute. Hold on. We're going up the board. I'm just having a moment here. Of course, the rook, this square is protected by the pawn. So this is just a straight, simple sacrifice. It must just be takes. Yeah, it's takes. Because if the king goes there, rook here is check, king goes across, rook here is mate, because our king is guarding the two escape squares. And had he played king takes, we would actually have had rook to here checkmate, attacking that way. with the king guarding these two squares, and of course the pawn protecting the rook. So we now just go here and here. Yeah, so those two weren't, they were actually quite straightforward. I was perhaps looking for ghosts. This one I think is easy. I think this is going to be knight here, which is check. The queen's guarding the whole line, so the king has to go to the corner. And then I think we play knight here, rook takes, and then queen to this square mate. So this is here, here, and here is mate. It's because the knight's protecting the queen, so there's no escape. All right, 37. Right, I'd really like to get the queen here because the bishop is pointing there too, and it would just be brutal. So I guess the move has to be queen check. But maybe not, maybe not. Maybe there's something better. I don't think so. I think no, it's got to be queen here. There's no other checks. There's no good captures. It's got to be queen here. It's got to be. It's got to be. Now the point now is, what's the next piece to go with? Because is it just as right? So there's two candidate moves. I'm off. Basically, I can put the queen here with check, or I can put the bishop here with check. And now we need to start working out which is the right one, because in either case, the king's going to probably go this way. So if we've got a queen here, if I do this, the king will just go back again. And then what we're going nothing. So that's not going to do it. So let's say queen here, king here, bishop here, check. The king only has one move, which is here. Oh, hold on a minute. What if we then put the queen back to this square? So that would be attacking on the white diagonals. The bishop would control the black diagonal. I think that's right. So let's just look at that again. So queen here, check. I think we put the bishop here. The only legal move, because the bishop controls all of these, is king here. And then if we retreat the queen, there's no way to get out of that because the pawn is guarding the other square. So this is here and here, and I do believe that's checkmate. Oh, well, all right, it's not checkmate, but it doesn't matter because pawn takes queen means we just won a queen. So that's, as you know, good, game over. Okay, why is this not just pawn takes knight? Oh, right, because queen takes knight. So effectively we lose a pawn. So there must be maybe something better. Right, hold on. So if we go knight takes queen, but then knight here check, king moves, knight takes queen, something takes knight, rook takes here. So white would lose queen, bishop, and knight in that combination. We'll be left with two rooks. We would lose knight and queen, and we'll be left with an extra bishop. Right, so that's right. It's got to be here, and then here, and then here, and then here, and we're just a straight bishop up. Okay, quite pleased with that one. Good. Oh dear, pride before a fall. Did I have to? I shouldn't have said that. Definitely shouldn't have said that. Right, what's going on here? What's going on here? So queen here check looks kind of obvious, but maybe it's not so good. If the knight blocks, we just go queen takes and we're just winning a piece. So that's a possibility. So queen here, it must then be king back, but then we can play rook across check. The bishop can't take because the bishop will be pinned. So we'd have a rook here, a king here, check. But if the king just goes there, I don't see what we got. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, we'd have queen here. Oh, that's brutal. Right, it's got to be here. And I think, I'm just going to say slow down and make sure. I think rook here. I think rook here. So if the knight gets in the way, we've just got queen takes and we're winning. Bishop takes is illegal because of the pin, so that's no good. And there's nothing else that looks like the game gets prolonged. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so we're at 40 without losing a life. Wow. We're doing all right, but look at the ratings now, 2100. This is getting harder. So the rook on the file here looks good. So I'm tempted straight away with queen here check. If the king goes to any of these three squares, we just play queen takes rook. So clearly, if we go queen here, king has to go here. But what next? What next? This has got to be right. Oh, it's not. Wow. Okay. Well, we've got one wrong. All right. Well, I've lost a life. Okay. I really thought that would be the right first move. So I wonder what I got wrong. We will go back at the end and look at the ones that I get wrong, because obviously at some point I'm going to get 3 wrong because the game will end. So we'll have to check that one. All right. So I think this one is, oh, maybe not quite. No, what I had in mind doesn't quite work. Okay. So we can play queen here, check, because of the bishop, which forces the king across. But what else can we do? Could we then play queen here? The king would have to move forward and we can win a pawn and it's still check. Maybe the game goes on. Maybe that's right. I can't see very much else. If we go with the bishop check, the king just goes to the white square and we've got nothing. So this has to be here first. Right, okay. So now it's a question of what next. We can't play bishop here attacking, which looks clever. Because, oh, can we? Hold on a minute. Perhaps we can. So bishop here attacking the queen. Queen takes rook is check. King here. Rook here. But after king there, the queen can come across and we're getting done. Yeah. Okay, so that's not going to do it. So it's not bishop here, although it wasn't a million miles off. So the question is, what now? Is it just going to be check? King moves and then check? Oh, wait. Hold on. But that's not actually winning either. I'm just spotting that this rook is loose. So like queen here is check and we can win the rook. But the problem is that's going to be the response. So this is the I'd love to do that and threaten the checkmate, but it's just not going to work. It's not right. It's not the right move. Could it be queen here? The king is probably going to run. It's probably going to go there. Queen here. No, that's not going to do it because the king's just going to run to the corner. And that just is not going to do it. What else have we got? Can I just bring the rook into the game? And then maybe I'm threatening queen check and then bring the rook into the game. Is it possibly just rook here? Oh, that might be right. Oh, no, hang on a minute. No, no, because no, queen here's mate. Oh, okay. So, yeah. Well, that changes things a bit. We're getting checkmated. Oh, goodness me. Didn't notice that quickly enough. Okay. Well, in that case, it's got to be one of these two moves. It's got to be. The question is which one. I actually don't know. I don't know, and it's annoying. And yeah. Right, we've got no good captures. We're under immediate threat of checkmate and immediate threat of the rook dying. So we've got to play one of these two checks. The only question is which one, because one is definitely going to be right and one isn't, because that's how these puzzles work. There's no other good checks. I can't obviously go there because of the pawn. I can't go there because of the pawn. Yeah, because that's a move. Can't go there because of the pawn. Obviously, I can't just put the king onto these squares. So fine. So it's got to be one of these two. But what's the difference between them? What's the difference? I don't know what the difference is. What's the difference between those two moves? In either case, I think the king's going to run that way. Oh, hold on. No. Right, so hold on. So I thought if the king goes there, queen here, check. Oh, no. And then I can put the rook here. And is that going to help? I don't know. Oh, man, this suddenly got a lot harder, didn't it? So it's... The king's definitely going to escape there. So I suppose logically, I need to stay on the white squares so that I can always, or hopefully still always be able to check on the white squares. Okay. I genuinely don't know the difference between these two moves. And I don't, if my next move after the queen check in either case is going to be queen takes pawn, I don't really get the difference. It's got to be one of them. Let's try that one because otherwise I'm going to be here all night. Yeah, okay, right. So now what on earth is next? It can't be queen takes pawn. Queen takes pawn, queen takes rook, because we've still got queen takes here lingering. So queen here, the king hides, and we've got no more check. Oh, hang on, we've got a check there. And then he comes out. I wonder if the point of this, and then we've got rook here. Oh, that must be it. That must be right. So I reckon queen here. If the king hides here, queen goes here, king comes out, rook gets involved. So actually after queen here, what happens if the queen gets in the way? If the queen gets in the way, then suddenly we're not under any danger here and we can just take the rook. Okay, so it's queen here. And I think we can now just play queen takes rook. Oh, it's gone back again. But, well, surely we can just put the queen back, can't we? Yeah, if we just put the queen back, then once again, yeah, that's it. It's winning. The last move didn't seem necessary. Okay, 41. Why can't we play? Right, so pawn takes queen, bishop takes queen. Rook takes knight, bishop takes rook, knight here, check, king moves, knight takes on that square, and we're material up. Why is that a bad plan? I think that must be right. Oh, no, because that's going to be a check. When the bishop takes us, it will be a check. Okay, so new idea, that isn't right. But what if we play queen takes bishop? Because then this threat is still standing. So queen takes bishop, pawn takes, we're just winning a piece because we'll have gained those two and only lost this one. And queen takes bishop, if he moves the queen out of threat, then we just move our queen out of threat. Well, there's just queen takes bishop then. Okay, pawn takes queen, winning. Okay, 42. So rook, king on same line. So pawn takes knight is check from the rook. Bishop takes rook, presumably, and then pawn takes pawn, and there's no way to stop the pawn promoting. So this is here. Oh, right. Okay. Well, I didn't expect that. But can I put the rook onto this square when king takes, which is forced because the knight's holding this one, then pawn takes, and we've still got the same thing because there's no way for white to stop the pawn promoting. Yeah, this is going to be rook down and then pawn takes, and we take a queen. Okay, cool, 43. Right, it's getting harder. So they're starting to get to sort of master level puzzles here. Starting to get there. So once, I mean, what a rating? Ratings 25, 26, 2700 is Grandmaster, I reckon you can say. So we're getting to the ones where it's blooming tricky, shall we say. What's going on here? We've got a rook. The rook's hanging. Why can't we just take the rook? So let's check. Queen takes rook, queen here, check. king goes somewhere, probably there. Why are we not okay there? What's the problem with that? What am I missing that means this puzzle is more difficult than just queen takes rook? It can't be this easy. It can't just be this easy. There must be something harder. Hold on. Queen takes rook. Knight goes back. If I'm check, but then queen takes, no, this is just queen takes rook. It must be. No, this is, no, I'm not having it. It's got to be harder. It's got to be more to it than this. It can't be as simple as queen takes rook, can it? It's just bluffing me. This is just queen takes rook. It's got to be. There's no discovered check with the bishop. Queen here. So imagine this isn't here. So I've played queen takes rook. My queen's there. Ping. He comes in with check. I just go to the corner. And there are no more checks. That's just, no, it's got to be. It's got to be. It's going to say red X. No, it is. So now it's just a question of getting out a check the right way. But we can't go there anyway because of the knight. Maybe it wants us to put the queen in the way. But if we put the queen in the way, isn't knight there really, really nasty? Okay, we'll come back to that in a bit. Sorry, the message. Right, so the only two ways to get out of check are to put the king to the corner. Can't go there because of the knight. Or to put the queen back here. So the question is, which one is the correct answer to the puzzle? King to the corner. There's no other checks. And we're up ahead a whole rook on material. This has to be just king to the corner, doesn't it? If you put the queen back, knight comes here with check. We can't play queen takes knight because we'd be pinned. If we go... I'm missing something. This can't be this obvious. If we go there, there's no checks. Oh, hang on. Knight will go here. That's not very nice. We didn't really do anything except repeat. Excuse me, swallow my breath, repeat the position. If I go king in the corner, so there's no checks. Queen here is not going to work because that bishop check forks. Yep, because bishops move like that. Forks the king and the queen. I really just want to put the king in the corner. Oh, so after all that, it was right. And evidently I have to play queen takes queen now to get out of check. And that was, okay, cool. Well, the queen's still there, look. Right, well, fine. I was agonizing over that and it wasn't as hard as I thought it was. Now this one, we've got two pieces attacking this knight and currently two defenders. So that makes me feel like it might be a distraction move. It might be this, because then the king has to get out the way. I mean, if the king goes there, then queen here is just mate. So it's going to be here. King goes to one of these three squares. If it goes there, queen here is going to be fantastic. Check. So one of these squares. And then, but I do have to be a little bit careful of this because it's check in the middle of the combination. So it's, what if it's this first? Hang on. What if it's here first? Wait a minute. Takes, check, takes, pawn on check. Now the king would have to go here. So what I'm saying, if I go here, queen takes. Now I'm still attacking the queen. If I could somehow get the king off of these two squares, then there wouldn't be any defense of the queen. But pawn here, the king would just go to this square and I've got nothing. So that doesn't quite work. So I reckon it probably is pawn here. So let's try that. Yeah, so the king's gone across. Now I ruled that out because I just thought queen here would be really, really good. What do I know? So, I think it's queen here. The king, he won't go to there then because that's check. So he'll definitely go there. But then I think bishop takes anyway, because after knight takes, we just move across out of check. And then how's he stopping queen here, mate? So I reckon it's queen here. And then I think it's bishop takes. Oh, hold on, pawn. Oh, hang on. So I was going to say bishop here, threatening the queen, by the way, but then knight takes, king here. Right, let's just see. Bishop takes, knight takes check, king here. My threat is queen here, which is just going to be mate. But I just want to see, is this better? Pawn forward now, check. Is actually more forcing, isn't it? Because the king would have to go to the corner. Yeah, this is the pawn move. So pawn forward, I actually think bishop takes is winning as well. But king here is... Oh, no, wait a minute. Hold on. So pawn forward, if king goes to the corner, bishop takes is just devastating. It's mate. If the king goes here... If the king goes here, pawn on, queens, rook takes, but rook takes isn't check, so there's time to put that move in. So maybe I'm right. Maybe it's bishop takes knight first, just threatening this. And I think it's brutal. Okay, there. Yes, got it. Okay, got it. Good. 45. Right, I desperately want to move this forward because it opens an attack from the bishop on the enemy queen and attacks the enemy bishop. It's glaringly obvious. It's too glaringly obvious. Why is it wrong? It can't be wrong. This has to be the right move. But I'm wary of what the rating on the puzzles is up to here, and that makes me suspicious. This is too obvious. So this pawn moves out the way. It means we're attacking the enemy queen and we're attacking the enemy bishop. Why is it not right? It's got to be right. The bishop's protected, so that's not a problem. There's literally no threats from white to our position. This has got to be right. It's got to be right. Okay, so why am I not just winning a bishop? Ah, okay. Right, so the point is now, if pawn takes bishop, he's going to win that one. Okay, so what we've got to do is put in an intermezzo. We've got to get the queen off of this line. So an intermezzo, an in-between move. So I reckon if I play here, now the queen's then got to move. It can't go there because I'll take her. Can't go there because I'll take her. She can't go there because we'll take her. And she can't take here because the knight take, because knights move like that, because the knight will take. So I think this must be G3. Right, bingo. And now we play queen takes queen, pawn takes, and finally we win our bishop. We'll just have a quick look and make sure there's nothing better. I don't think there is. So yeah, okay. There, win a piece. I assume bishop takes bishop is right. It wants one more move out of me. That's annoying. It must be bishop takes bishop, surely. It can't just be a retreat the bishops. Oh yeah, because bishop's threatening my rook. Yes, of course it's bishop takes bishop. Yeah, okay. Right, 46 with 2 lives to go. Okay, right, now I'm spotting this, which looks interesting, but currently the rook's in the way and the knight protects that square anyway, so maybe that's not going to do it. But I could possibly find some way to build up on that square. Rook here threatens the queen. Queen goes here, rook across, but then queen takes pawn and yuck. So no, hold on, that's not gonna... Right, hang on. Oh, this has got to be something to do with the fact that this pawn is pinned as well and can't take on this square. But what is it? What's the key? What's the killer move here? What is the killer move? It's got to be based on the tactic of this file. It's got to be. But what do I do? Now, queen takes rook, knight takes, and I think we've got nothing. Or indeed, queen takes. Yeah, because queens move like knights. Queen takes, yeah. So if I go here, it's protected, so that's fine. The queen will have to go to this square. I've just spotted what it is. And then we drop the bishop back to attack the queen. That will open the protection from the queen to our pawn, and the black queen's trapped. So I'm busy looking, and I bet that's the point of the puzzle, at all of this clever crisscross up here, but it's actually this. It's rook here. And okay, so that's forced, because if the queen had gone here, bishop back actually would have trapped it. So now have we got something that we can do on this open file? Is the queen going to run out of moves anyway? Not quite. Oh, hold on. What about using this rook? This is to do with the trapped queen. Rook here attacks the queen. That also protects the pawn by an X-ray from that square. She can't take there because of the queen. She can't go here because of the bishop. She can't go here because of the bishop. She can't go here, but she can go there. But then we can kick her. She'd have to go there, and we've got a fork on the rook. I think we've got to play rook here. Yeah. Knight checks. Well, that means I definitely found the right move. So now we've got to think, how do we get out the check? So it's we obviously can't move the king because that. So it's basically pawn takes or rook takes. So I can't think why we'd want to give up the rook. Pawn takes? Oh, right, hold on. Yes, right. Pawn takes is a mistake because then this rook comes here with check. So it has to be rook takes so that black can't. Okay. And now I assume we just play rook takes queen. Ah, got it. Okay, well, that's a good one. Right, 47. It's getting harder. Right, this looks to me like the rook's guarding this file so the king can't escape. So I reckon we're going to go queen here, check. That forces this. And then I think queen takes knight, king takes, and this is easy. This one's an easy one. So here, I'm just going to double check. That's forced. Queen takes, king takes, rook here, and it's mate because the bishop is guarding this square. Yeah, so this has got to be here. It's got to be here, and it's got to be here. And that's a 2600 puzzle. All right, fair enough. Right, this one looks quite straightforward too. I think we play rook here. That's then forced because this rook's guarding this whole line. I think we play this rook here, king here, and rook takes rook. Yeah, this one's easy too. This is suspicious. Here. Now the pawn's guarding this square, so rook here, check, and rook takes. How is that a 2600 puzzle? Anyway, I'm not knocking it. 49, and I've got 2 lives. This should be my 50. Now we've got a rook here on the same line as the king. So this baby is pinned. So I want to play queen here because that's threatening mate. And the pawn won't be able to take me because it's pinned to the king. So how is this not the winning move? I think it is. Well, it's not, because what's going to happen is white's going to play there. And then maybe I can figure out what's next. Pawn up might be next. Okay, I really want to play queen to f3. Pawn there, I think, is forced. Oh, he could actually play it to here as well. So maybe that's not quite good enough. Maybe we have to do something else. Maybe we play rook takes, king takes, queen here, king there, king up, but getting this other rook across is going to be too slow. So it's not going to be that. It's here. He actually isn't going to play g4 because I've got queen takes, so that's nonsense. It's got to be queen f3. I'm pretty sure it's queen f3. I don't want to rush this now because I want to hit the magic 50. I really think queen f3 is good. The pawn can't take because it's an illegal move because rook takes king. So, and the threat is then queen takes is checkmate. So that's strong. I think that's then forced. So I'll have a queen here and a pawn here. Pawn on looks quite good. Because if pawn takes then I've got rook here, which is just devastating. I think it's this. Okay, now, I reckon pawn here might be good. If pawn takes, rook takes check, the king goes here, there's just got to be some sort of win. There's got to be some sort of win there. There has to be. But maybe there's even better. I really like e3. Really like it. I don't even know why. I'm pretty confident pawn. Oh, pawn takes is losing to queen takes, not rook takes. Queen takes, then that's just, yeah. Or is it? Oh, hang on, because the king goes to the corner, queen takes, queen comes and gets in the way, and maybe it's not so clever. Okay, well, whatever. This is my idea. Is there anything better? Rook takes pawn, pawn takes, queen takes. The queen's just going to come across and get in the way, so it's not that. I could play the rook to attack the queen, I suppose. But I don't think that's quick enough. Like if I play rook here, the queen, maybe it'll just plant itself there. Oh, wait a minute. But then if the queen's there, rook takes check, pawn takes, queen takes queen. But no, I don't know. I mean, yeah, all right, that's, yeah, not going to go there, but you can just go here. Queen here is just fine. So it's not rook across, it's too slow. It's got to be e3. Right, it is e3. So queen takes queen, queen takes queen, queen takes pawn was played. So now I think we have to just play rook takes pawn because that's check. If pawn takes, then queen takes queen and we're winning because we're just a queen up. And if he plays anything else, there's only two other moves. Well, there's only one of them, which is there, which is just queen here. Oh, God, which is queen here. I reckon this is rook takes, and I think we've cracked 50. Yes, indeedy. Right, we've got 50 and we've got 2 lives left. Wow. How high can we go? Probably 50 and get the next 2 wrong. Okay. So can I just play queen takes rook, queen takes queen, king takes rook? Because 2 rooks are better than a queen. So if I had a king here and I'd lost my queen, the white queen's here. Black, white to move, there's no checks, and we'd have a rook and 2 bishops against a queen. That looks quite good. In fact, that's probably right, isn't it? So the 2 white rooks would be gone and we'd have a king here. My queen would be gone and the white queen would be here. White to move, there's only 1 check, which is there, which is not especially scary. I can just hide. I think this is queen takes rook. Queen takes pawn is not going to get anywhere. That's just a stupid move. I know we always look at all the checks. There are no other checks. There's nothing else I can catch. It's queen takes rook. It's got to be. It's not. All right. Well, it's one to look at in a minute. I don't even care now. I've got 50 tonight. I don't care. Right. Let's see. Okay. So we've got a battery. Come on. Let's see how high we can get. We've got a battery. So we could do either of these moves. Queen takes bishop is so glaringly obvious that it probably isn't. Why isn't it? Queen takes bishop looks brutal. The king has to go there. Queen back. But the rook gets in the way. Right, I think the point of this is that we need to not give black time to put the rook in the way. So if I go queen takes bishop, king here, queen back, check, rook gets in the way and we can't move it. Whereas if I go here, The king, if it goes there, it's just checkmate. So that's not going to happen. And if he goes there, then I can bring this into the game. And that might be really, really good. I don't know. Is it? I don't know, because then king goes here. Well, maybe that is right then. Maybe I go here. That forces this. What if I then played bishop here on this diagonal and I'd be threatening the queen checkmate? He's going to put the rook in the way, though. Are there any other good checks? Do I have to play the queen there? Does it make a difference if I go here? No, that's giving him too many outs. Forget that. Right. So it's got to be one of these. Oh, ooh. What if I go here? And he went there and I played rook takes bishop. King takes. No, I don't think I've got enough pieces. I can't really just. I don't know. Blah. I also just looked at putting the queen here, but that's, again, it's too slow. It's too slow. Remember, I've got a rook under attack here. So it's a question. It's one of these two moves. It's either there or it's there. This is the one that limits the opposition choices the most. There's only one legal move. So it's going to be there. Well, to be fair, yeah, there's only one move if we go queen here as well. Oh, I don't know. 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 And I don't like it. And I don't know because I want to know. Something's telling me it's not as obvious as queen takes bishop. Queen here, check. King here. Bishop, check. King here. Rook here, attack the queen, and then can I win the bishop? Is there some sort of reason why? Could I play rook here first? Does that make some sort of difference? No, probably not, because the queen will just come back and protect the bishop. But I reckon this move is in here somewhere as well, possibly. So it's a question, right? I've got to decide which one of these is better. It's either here or here. If I take the bishop, the king has to go there. I don't know if that's worth doing. It would put the rook on the same line as the king, but there's a pawn in the way and it's defended. So, yeah. All right, do it. Okay, right. Now what? So, candidate moves. I can play queen check. But I think after rook here, we just don't have anything. I just think that defends the position. Although, hang on. Rook there. Queen's got to move. Say queen takes pawn. Rook check. Pawn takes. Queen takes. Rook probably gets in the way, or maybe get. Yeah, no, okay, no. So it's not. I don't think queen here is going to do it because I think that gives enough defense. Next possibility is here, threatening this, but then the rook just does the same thing, and I can't do anything there, so that's not going to do it either. So what on earth is the next move? Queen here, rook here is just not going to cut it. And we're 2 pawns down, remember. Black's got the extra 2 pawns here. So what about putting the queen here? That's the bishop. Bishop here, he's still going to put the rook in the way. So that blocks that move. And maybe here. Let's come back to this. Where does the queen go? She takes the pawn. Oh, hold on. Rook takes, then pawn takes. but I don't have another piece attacking this square. What if queen here, rook in the way, rook here, queen takes, rook takes pawn, pawn takes, queen takes, but then the rook's just going to get in the way again, isn't he? Man, this is annoying. I feel like I'm really close to getting this, and yet I can't quite see a way over the line. What if we were using the wrong rook? What if we need to use that rook so that the queen can't take that pawn? Is that a possibility? So what if I go there? Where's the queen going to go if I do it that way? She could go... That might be better. That might be better, but not as the first move. So queen here, rook in the way, definitely. We're ruling out king to the corner because the bishop check looks devastating. So definitely going to be here. What about it being this rook? Now, where does the queen go then? Queen here, rook here, takes, and we've run out. Yeah, it's no good because there's an X-ray defense. So, man, this is tough. Bishop here, rook here. And I can't get to this square. Bishop here, rook here, and I still can't get to this square. So I don't think it's one of the bishop moves yet. The two rook moves don't look quite quick enough. It's got to be queen check. That's the only, it's got to be. Oh, no! Okay, look, 50 is good. 50 is good. Right, let's have a look at the ones I got wrong then, and we'll see what the computer says I should have done. So I'm taking 50. 50 is good. I'm not going to anything from this. Right, now, this has been a long session, so I'm going to be honest. I'm going to, this one, I thought it might have been queen here. That's what I tried. Why is it not giving me the option to use the computer? Right, let's have another quick look. Oh, I'm an idiot. Oh, I'm actually an idiot. How have I not seen this? It's this. Well, I say that. Then here, then here, and now here. And when the king moves, we pick up the other rook. Oh, I should have got that. So frustrating. Right. Let's find the other. Oh, right. Let's scroll down and find the other ones. So we'll do this one and right. So here we go. Now this one, I can't remember. What did we say? Oh yeah, I tried queen takes rook because I figured queen takes, then king takes, and we'd just be winning, but apparently not. So I actually can't see any other moves in this one. This one's really hard. I just don't see anything. I don't see any checks that are any great use. I don't see any captures. What on earth is the answer to this puzzle? I don't see any distraction to, oh, I do now. See, I don't see it. I don't see, oh, I saw it. This is rook here because the bishop's protecting this square. And if the queen moves, then we've got rook takes rook, which is obviously winning. And otherwise queen takes is just going to, yeah, it's here. Okay, but now how do we follow it up? Do we just play, can we just play king takes rook? Is that winning? I think it is. If the rook goes across, we can block. Yeah, so king takes rook. Oh, speaking of which, yeah. Oh, well, all right. Yeah, okay. Oh, this is so frustrating. The worst bit about this is when you see the ones you got wrong, and you absolutely should not have got them wrong. It's terribly, terribly frustrating. Right, so this, oh, no. I just dropped it on the wrong square. I'm an idiot. I know perfectly well, right? It's that. Yeah, we know that. I literally just let go of the mouse too soon. So it said it's not check. So what other moves did I look at? I looked at the bishop move, which isn't right. Okay. So I didn't think the bishop move was right. And I looked at the rook moves, which isn't right. And I looked at the other rook move, which isn't right. So basically everything I looked at is garbage. Oh no, there was one other move. I put the bishop there. Wait, what? I want to, oh, why? What? Well, obviously then you play bishop takes queen, but why? Huh? Oh God. Okay, right. I've just seen why. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I might not have seen this. Right. So here, queen here. I think that's good. Or maybe not. Because I was going to say if rook takes queen, rook takes rook, the rook has to get back, rook takes his mate. But if you do this, there's nothing to stop. You just put the rook back and bishop takes isn't actually that clever. No, that's not. Oh, I want to use the computer. Why can't I use the computer? That's really annoying. Hint. Oh, so it's. Wait, what? Hold on. Right. Hold on a minute. Okay, right. So queen takes, we know. So it's queen takes, bishop there, which I did, don't get rid of that stupid arrow. Queen has to go here. And then obviously bishop takes queen. It's just winning. But get rid of that. I want the computer on this. I want the computer on this one because I genuinely don't understand part of this puzzle. So the first thing to say is that queen e6 would have been winning as well, just not as winning. So queen takes is fine. King back is forced. Bishop h6 is the move. Why can't we play rook f7? So rook f7 is losing as well, but why? So rook f7, queen e8, which I just showed you. What's wrong with just putting, well, mate in two? So rook e8, I showed you it. I will do it again. If rook takes, that's forced, that's mate. So obviously, yeah. Oh, sorry, queen e8. But after rook f8, queen takes rook, rook takes queen, bishop takes, king takes is in black's favor. So the correct move is queen d7. But queen d7, why can you not just put the rook back? It's not even offering putting the rook back. Putting the rook back must be a really quick checkmate then. Okay. So rook back must then be rook check. Yeah, rook e8. Yeah. Yep. And then, yeah, so whatever you do, if you block, you get checkmated here. And if you play rook takes, then queen takes, then rook back, then queen takes. And of course, the queen's supported by the bishop. Okay, so that explains why going back here in this position, the only move actually is queen f4, but it's pretty rubbish. So yeah, okay. So bishop h6 is winning. But the reason I didn't get it was because I didn't spot after rook f7. I thought this held everything. What I didn't spot until doing it now is this move. So, bleh, okay, well, fine. I'm not going to knock that at all because 50 is my record and I'm very, very pleased with it. What I do want to do is see whether it gets us, oh, excuse me, anywhere whatsoever near the leaderboard. I mean, I don't think it will, but yeah, we'll have a look. Leaderboard. So have we beaten any master? So this is in the last hour. Why aren't we there? Wait, what? Why am I not? I don't get it. We should be there because we got 50. That doesn't make any sense. Wait, hold on a minute. Hourly? Why aren't I there? Hold on a moment. We got 50. I've been robbed here. What's going on? Let's refresh the page. No. Survival. Leaderboard. What? Yeah, there they are. Puzzle Rush. Let's go back one. Why am I not showing? I'm actually devastated. Puzzles. Puzzle Rush. There. Leaderboard. Where, what, why, who, how? Well, what? Well, there you go. You've got video evidence that I've been absolutely robbed here. I absolutely should be in second place in the last hour, ahead of this national master, and 2 behind women's candidate master. And I don't understand why it's not showing me. Maybe, I don't know. Do I have to close these ones? No, because that's just offering me random puzzles again. Well, I'm very, very, very unhappy that I'm not showing on the leaderboard. So we weren't anyway. Well, you've sat here and watched me do it. I don't understand why it's not showing. Whatever, it's a glitch. But we're not a million miles off when you think that I really, really should have got the 3 that I didn't get. I certainly should have got 2 of them. We're not a million miles off scoring as well as some of the Grandmasters and the FIDE Masters. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good, even though I'm actually furious that I'm not showing on the leaderboard. I'm deeply unhappy. I should be okay. We're not recording any more of me just moaning about the fact that the leaderboard is glitched. Whatever. I should be there with my 50. Yeah. So excellent. That'll do for that. I'm going to go off and sulk that the glitch has robbed me of my rightful place in history. And I'll see you all next time for some more chess. Hopefully that was quite entertaining.